right, I'm going to be talking about real estate. I'm going to dive right in. Thank you for being here. In the new format that we're going to start trying out next week, we're going to make Wednesdays based on the votes we're getting about real estate. Now, something I want to point out, whether you're watching the replay or you are on here live, please keep typing in the chats the feedback of what you want to see on this daily show. Yesterday, somebody mentioned doing special episodes on technology and technology as it relates to business. And oh my goodness, thank you, Jason, for that suggestion. What a powerful, powerful suggestion. I think it's a rapidly changing world we live in, stating the obvious there. But as the world is changing in a big way and quite rapidly, being able to keep up with that, with the AI, with all the transitions that are happening is going to be powerful. So you thought you was in the real estate business. In reality, you're in the sales and marketing business. You're finding sellers who need to sell. You're offering them a solution. You're marketing them. That's how you're finding them. And then you step into the money game. So I'm going to talk briefly today about a few stats. So if you don't mind putting your geek hat on for a moment, or your nerd hat on with me for a moment, I'm going to share some stats that I have recently been studying that I think will serve as a powerful example of the real estate market today and what we're looking at. So number one, I want to point out that in the real estate market, let me get the comments going up here. Testing 1, 2. All right, there we go. In the real estate investing market, number one, note there's about 140 homes in the U.S. Of those 140 homes in the U.S., there is about 40% that are free and clear, about 60% that are leveraged. Okay. Now, that is a powerful number. Now, of the homes that have mortgages on them, about 23% of those homes have debts that are under 3%, meaning those debts start with a 2. That's crazy. So if you're talking to a home with a loan on it, there's a 23% chance that you're talking to someone who has a debt under 3%. Now that's mind-boggling to me. They're waiting for us to be able to come buy the house, take over those low interest debts. And that is a massive opportunity. Now, we're becoming a nation of renters, about 44 million rental units in the U.S. And it's interesting, year over year since 2019, and I'll nerd out here for a minute. My data people are going to love these stats, and then we'll move into some business and why I love real estate, why I love the SFR, the single family residential real estate market. But something very important to understand is in this market, with 140 million homes in the U.S., still only about 700,000 are for sale. Now, here's the cool thing. The Midwest gold rush, I call it. And I'm such a strong believer in the Midwest and what is happening there. That's where the majority of mine and Leo's deals are. And we're doing tons of deals there. It's in the Midwest. And the Midwest is still experiencing, yes, of course, rising interest rates. That's happened across the country. And there's still housing shortage. Less than 1/2% of the 140 million properties are on the market for sale. So there's still a shortage. Yes, rates are higher. Yes, in some markets you see the fluctuations of for sale. You see price drops in some of the markets. Austin, you've seen it. California, you've seen it. Florida, you've seen it. You're seeing this market shift. Now, here's what's exciting to me. You see year over year from 2019, institutions coming into the single family market. You see more in 2020. You see it more in 2021. You've seen a year over year major increase. And what has happened is there's been a lot of eyeballs on single family real estate. Now, don't get me wrong, I like multifamily. I like trailer parks. I like self-storage. I like multiple other asset classes. My bread and butter since I was 21 years old has always been single family real estate. And the magic piece I was missing is that we can buy real estate in portfolios. We can do multiple deals at a time. And there is so many ways to find these deals. They're way more plentiful than some of the big deals, which I also like. They're way more plentiful, and you can still gather these, whether it's one at a time, a dozen at a time, or 100 at a time. You can still gather tons of these deals. They're simple to sell. Financing options are endless. Of course, we do creative financing. We love creative financing. Institutions lend on them. A lot of different plays to make in the single-family real estate market. Now, there's hundreds of thousands of them that have been bought up by institutions. Like it or hate it, it's what's happening. It's very important. I want to note down. We thought we were in the real estate business. In reality, we're in the marketing business. We're in the marketing business of finding sellers who need to sell, finding buyers who need to buy, and essentially matching them up. I'm not talking about wholesaling. I'm talking about buying on refinance and selling on lease option. On the Real Estate Live Wednesdays in the format going forward, I'm going to pick out different segments. I'm going to talk about technology in real estate. AI is mind-boggling what's happening right now. I've been having chats with ChatGPT about integrating more and more AI into our business. We already have been using it so much more than many, but so much less than what's available. And if you're not spending some time every single week on AI, by the way, you should be. You should be having chats every single day with ChatGPT. Things are changing very rapidly. So, what's the point of today? I want to make sure that I explain to you why I love the single-family real estate world. You can go out there regardless of whether you're experienced or new, and you can start gathering these deals up. You can get them with low interest or sometimes principal-only payments on the debt-free ones, the 40% that are currently don't have a debt on them, buying them creatively. We'll talk more about that in coming episodes. In the Midwest, there is a massive opportunity right now, and I'm giddy about it. We're gathering deeds there right now a lot because I love the fact that we can gather these things. We can use 1031 exchanges. We can exit through lease options. We can exit potentially to institutions. We can sell to investors. We can sell to homeowners. They're easy to acquire. We buy them subject to owner financing, wraparound mortgages, and we're able to put these deals together in a very simple and systematic format. But here's the thing. If you're new and you're listening to this, by all means, go find some deals, get some deeds. And we're going to be talking about more and more ways to do that, more of our marketing strategies, and diving into various topics in coming Wednesdays. I want to point out, though, very important that as you're doing that, to never get caught up in a little loop of thinking. And this is what is exciting to me. Because this business was meant to serve you in your growth and your vision. Never lose sight of your vision. I was talking to someone a moment ago, and they was talking about a few things on their vision board. Very exciting things, I might add. And they was talking about how well the business was doing and how their vision board was, but that they wasn't using their business to make their vision board become a reality over the last couple of decades. Certain segments of it. And we got into a deep discussion talking about the importance of making sure your business serves the life you were meant to live. Because see, if the first several years of my business was in the grind and the hustle and putting deals together and going and getting the next deal, the next check, making ends meet, surviving, making sure that I could get the next team member and make payroll, and I never took time to pause and say, what is the way I can plug this business in to make it where I can do what I'm called to do, to give to charity, to give back to church and to God in the way I'm meant to travel the world with my brother like we want to hang out, and to begin to build a future family and life that we desire. And those were all things that I didn't see. I didn't know how to make that happen. And my prayer for you listening to this is that you start to see the ways that any real estate, but in today's topic, the single family real estate investing business can really change the way your financial future for your family is set up. Now, single family real estate, I'm not talking about onesies and twosies. I'm talking about the fact that you can go out and gather, and some of our friends are doing this at scale. You can go gather hundreds of deals, managed by other companies that are leveraged with non-personally guaranteed debt to be able to put cash in the bank, tax-free, because it's a loan, and to be able to have those tenants to pay down those mortgages for you. Such a beautiful thing that you're able to do to build legacy wealth. Providing housing to people who may otherwise be in apartments, but they would rather live in a house, to provide opportunities. Now, we're not even talking about lease option today. I just wanted to go into a little bit of the single family residential real estate market and say we are in a massive opportunity that is before us. And with the fact that 23% of houses that have debts on them are still start with a 2, still below 3% interest. 73% of houses that have a debt on them are below 5% interest. Now, here is the gameplay. And this is where we've been talking about on this show. If you've been hanging out with us, and thank you for those of you who are hanging out with us on this show day after day, watching the replay. As you're watching this show, the objective is every day to give you that daily boost to go out and to make something happen. Because every single day, if you're moving the needle forward, you're putting an offer in, you're making a call. If you're in the real estate game, if you're not in the real estate game and you're running another business, I challenge you to spend a few minutes researching. Even if you don't make it a whole business like I have and you don't go buy hundreds of properties, you could still use this business to house hack and gather a house or two. You could still use this model or this thought process and this education while you're running your other industry or your other businesses to be able to use this strategy to go gather a house a year and in 10 years have 10 properties. You could use this strategy to go gather and meet investors at a local meetup. Just decide what you want. And if you don't get anything else from today's episode, I challenge you to write down after today's show, when we end here in just a few minutes, write down your vision. If you've not already done it, write down your vision. In 5 years, what is the life you want to be living? And when you can envision the life you want to live, not I want to buy X amount of houses, I want to make X amount of dollars a month, but I'm talking what life do you want to be living? Do you want a second home in Bali? Who do you want to be around? Who will be there with you? Who will be celebrating your wins? What's the life you actually want? What kind of car? What kind of house? What kind of people? How do you want to give back to church, to charity, to missions, to build for God and for good? If you write down that actual vision, now instead of saying, hey, I found something that works, so let me go make money, and I'll figure out later what my vision is, like I used to do, you can say, hey, this is my vision. And by the way, I'm going to figure out how this business fills my vision, builds me a foundation to build on, to give back. So I challenge you today, write down your vision. I challenge you today to make an action. If you don't have it, feel free to type a comment asking for it. My team will get you our scripts, our $1 million scripts of how you can talk to for sell by owners that you find on Zillow and Facebook. But for all of you listening to this, make an action today. If you're experienced and you're doing deals, take an action. Figure out how to go to a local meetup. Go talk to some local investors. Call some local lenders. Make some local connects. Search up ChatGPT. What big buyers are buying in my area? Is Nextdoor buying in my area? Open Door, not Nextdoor. That's the app. That's a whole different app. Is Open Door buying in my area? Who's buying in my area? What institutions are there in my area? Who's someone I can sell to? How do I find motivated sellers? Of course, we're going to talk in future about mailings and all the different ways we do, and we'll be talking about how we're using AI now to niche data. One of our friends is going to be open up a data opportunity for us to find out so much niche data. Why? Because we want to go to target rich environments to find people who want to sell their house quickly. And with this beautiful thing known as AI, we can predict down to a matter of weeks of, in this list of 100 people, let's say, there's going to be X amount of them who decide to sell their house in X amount of time. It's crazy the amount of data that you can now get while you're building this business. And he who has the most data wins. So make sure you're staying on the cutting edge. Make sure you're showing up and watching the show. Know that you don't have to get stuck in just the next deal. Make sure that you are putting in the effort and the constant connectivity to have constant deal flow, because it takes the same amount of time to buy 10 houses as it does to buy one. It takes that we're closing a 7-house package next week or the following. We're closing a 7-house package. It's going to take me the same amount of hours or minutes actually to sign those 7 documents, maybe a few more minutes, from one person sitting probably right here at the studio, going to come out here and bring me documents, a package of documents to sign, and I'll sign away and send them back. Same amount of time and focus, maybe a few minutes difference as it would if I sat down and signed for one. I want you to start thinking in this way. How can I, type it in the chat, leverage? How can I leverage my time? How can I leverage my time to get a bigger result with the same amount of time? I want to share this with you as a frame of mindset. Years ago I remember taking every meeting. I didn't value my time. I didn't understand how to value my time. And I think this is going to be meaningful for some of you. Before I tell you this, let me look at some of these comments. Bill Welsh says, Andrew, I'm excited for the new format. And next Wednesday, Real Estate Wednesday. Heck yeah, let's go, Bill. Thank you for being here, man. You're an inspiration. Amanda says 23%. And you're taking to a person with less than 3%. Good. Take action now. I like that, Amanda. Caleb says, what's up, G? What's up, brother? Good to see you too, man. So I want you to take a lesson from this real quickly. 21 years old. I'm starting in real estate. I'm going to visit every house. I didn't know back in the day how to leverage time. I didn't understand any of that. All I understood was I know I need to talk to sellers and I need to go shake hands, and somehow I'm gonna get somebody. If I shake enough hands and make enough offers, somebody some point's gonna say yes. It's a numbers game. I asked the question, if I guaranteed you, if I was able to promise you by your 24th no, 23 no's from now, 24th call was $1 million. Who here would be giddy to get on the phone and get to 23 no's? Of course, we all would, right? It's like, let me pick up the phone and find somebody to just tell me no. Let me go out the door and knock on some neighbors' house doors just to tell me no. Because if we knew the 24th conversation after 23 no's was $1 million, now we're just getting through the no's. Except while we don't know the exact number, we know that if we make enough offers, we're bound eventually by sheer math to increase our likelihood in a substantial way to get a deal. Okay, now I'm 21, I'm going out, I'm knocking on doors, I'm meeting people, and a gentleman who has several houses for sale agrees to sell them to me with owner financing. I'm going to buy them, just take over his debt, wrap around mortgage. And he says, by the way, if you're looking to do these deals, I want to introduce you to the guy who originally financed my rentals for me. By the way, just a guy 2 days ago I was talking to, still a friend of mine to this day. But because of that, I went and had lunch with the gentleman he wanted to introduce me to. A few months goes by, I get an opportunity to buy a trailer park. The same gentleman that he introduced me to now got me the funding for the trailer park. And that is how networking happens. I share that again because coming back to the reality, saying, hey, wait a second. We have deals, we have opportunities every single day. There is portfolios to buy, portfolios to sell, opportunities. We're in the marketing game. We're in the sales game. We're playing the money game. And when we cannot focus on just the next deal or just the next contract, and we can get focused on how do I network and build relationships while doing the lead measure every day. There's lead measure and there's lag measure. How can every single day I take the opportunity to move the needle on the things I can do? See, I can't predict how many contracts that are going to come back signed this week, for example. But I can predict how many calls that I choose to have. So, contract signed, that's a lag measure. Lead measure is, I can't predict contract signed, but I know from past data, if I talk to 100 people, I'm probably going to get between 10 and 11 contracts signed if they're hot leads. So, can I talk to 100 people to get 9, 10, 11 contracts signed? Can't predict the contracts. I can predict the amount of people I'm going to have conversations with. So start doing what you can to move the needle and determine, hey, I want to buy a portfolio this year. I want to start putting pieces together. Who do I need to be around? You may say, Andrew, I've never bought a 20, 30, 50 house portfolio before. How do I go about it? Start surrounding yourself by people who know who to call, who know who lends on those, who knows how to put deals like this together. It's not in what you do as much as it is in who you know and who you become in the doing. It's such a gift that you give yourself. I believe it's Jim Rohn that talks about to become a millionaire. It's not even the fact that you became a millionaire. It is the fact of the person you became to accept or to accomplish your first million. And that's why it becomes much simpler from there. So life can be hard. Business can be hard. You're in the right place. Thank you for being here. Keep the comments coming. Keep the suggestions coming. I'm going to be back tomorrow, same place, same time. We're going to be doing a Bible study tomorrow. So if you or anybody you know have been wanting to do that, I've been getting responses from several people asking for Bible studies. They were started by personal texts from people who are around us in our community. Me and Leo will be here tomorrow at noon PST, 3 p.m. EST, doing a Bible study. That'll be fun. We'll be back on Friday talking about wealth and wisdom and business advice. And next week, we're going to launch the new format. So keep the suggestions coming. I'm reading every single comment, even on the replays. I'm going back. I'm reading all your suggestions. So please keep them coming. Thank you for being here. Diana, so good to see you. Jim, good to see you too, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. God bless. Bye for now.